your biggest dream and you could write it out, what would it be?
You know what would be great? To just have a successful relationship.
Amen.
But really, I'm in a great relationship now, and I just want to have all the love and the patience and compassion that I can muster.
So this latest single woman, I feel as if that you are doing something that is intentional. It's never not a good time to celebrate women, but how is it your story and what you have been through? Although you highlight so many other women that are in the game, in the struggle, making a difference. What
Mhm.
is your story?
My story as it relates to this song is just being open to tell what it really takes as a woman who's been in business and has had a certain amount of success and also has had a marriage and a divorce. Um,
Hmm.
what it is that really makes things click. And although, for many, I would imagine it's just, oh, we go out on a date, you get to know one another, and then it escalates, and then you make this huge commitment. And I think, well, what I know is in this particular song, I'm saying a lot of what it is that I have to offer, what it is that I expect in return, what it is that I'm willing to do in terms of loyalty and love, and but I'm also very proud to say what it is that I've been able to accomplish on my own, but also what I'm willing to share in. And I think for a lot of people, especially women who are successful in what it is that they do, find it difficult to find counterparts, to find, men who can stand up and sort of um, be willing to give just as much as they get.
Mm.
And, I could say the same thing for men. Men can probably have the same argument,
Hmm.
which I also hear men complain. I'm looking for
Hmm.
someone to really date, but she just wants this much from me. Or,
Uh-huh.
just the other night, this guy was like, I'm really ready to talk relationship, and women want me to send pics of my stuff. Like,
Oh no.
yeah, yeah. So I think all over the globe, um, people are being met with not enough of what it is that they're looking for. And I think in this record, I'm unashamed, unafraid to say what it is that I have to give, what it is that I'm looking for. And hopefully women can listen to this and sort of tune into, oh, okay, she may need that and I need this. Hey, how about this? Being unafraid to say what it is that you're looking for. And I guess that also comes with experience and also age.
There's a couple of things that you just said that I want to talk about. The honesty and the vulnerability. I was thinking about this before we were recording, and I was thinking of starting to ask questions because I am in the same space where I like for people to say, when are you most vulnerable?
Mhm.
And it often has something to do with relationships, whether it's man or woman, woman and woman, man and whomever, your mother, father, whatever relationship is, that's where you find yourself the most vulnerable. And when you are triggered, do you put up a wall around your heart and decide to proceed and just transform into a transformer because you feel danger of being exposed? And you talking about what you're looking for in relationships, been married, been divorced,
Mhm.
I hear this conversation with men and women, the same thing. I can't find what I'm looking for. And I have been trying to say this, and it's been going on for a while. This is not new, but it's been going on for a while where people are still searching, women more specifically, because we'll stay there, are searching for something. And the more successful you are, um, it feels like the gap it becomes wider and wider and wider. and and men say the same thing.
Mhm.
Is it a is it in our culture? Is it a black thing,
Mm.
or is it men and women in general, in your opinion?
It's probably I would think it's a little bit of both, honestly. Like I'm just thinking about it now. This isn't something that you prepped me with these types of questions, but if I had to
Sure.
just go off the top of my dome, it is men and women in general because once you've gotten old enough and you're single, see, it's one thing to marry early and then you grow into this knowingness of what I like and what by then you've
Yeah.
already become extremely tolerant of what
Yeah.
is going on in the relationship. Either that or not, and you leave. But if you're still there, you've become tolerant. But if you've gotten older and you've had a couple of relationships, you understand, okay, I won't do that again.
Yeah.
And nope, that is unacceptable. And nope, not going to tolerate that. You begin to understand yourself better and what it is that you will stand for. Even what I've learned since my last marriage is okay, I'm going to ask all the questions. I'm not going to act like I'm the cool girl from down the block where if you're doing this, that, and the third, I'm all right with it. Or if
Yep.
something looks a little fishy, I'm not going to say I smell fish or
Yeah.
something here is not right.
Yep.
And with that knowingness, it becomes that's how the gap gets larger and larger because you can smell what's not right from really far off. And even if you get right up on it and it doesn't smell right, okay, this isn't for me because I'm not ready to lower my standard and play these types of games with you. And right now, I'm not even talking about economically. I'm just
Yeah.
talking about you as a person, how it is that you get along or play games to get along. I'm not into that. So, but
Hmm.
I do think it's a little bit of both. It's woman and man or whatever type of relationship it is, but it's also cultural.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Do you, as you have this it, I mean, by the way, this is can be an anthem for so many of us, and what and what we want. Do you find that these conversations are more and more common, and this is why you were more willing? I know you said age comes, have wisdom, and you've been through a lot and you've seen a lot, but do you also find that these are conversations that are just being had all the time?
Yeah, I think there are conversations that are being happen. Well, it is probably a few conversations happening. One is, low level, still succumbing to the pressures of what is happening in society today, and then
Yeah.
there's an elevated conversation that's happening where there are real um real stakes. People want real relationships, and
Yeah.
yes, they want to be vulnerable, they want to be in those relationships outside of familial relationships
Yeah.
that say I'm going to be naked. I'm going to strip down all of what it is that I put together to help me from not being hurt. You want to be, because this is the thing, the more vulnerable you are or you allow yourself to be, the more you can be seen and the more you can be loved for who you really are.
Mhm.
We've got
Mhm.
all of this stuff that we put on thinking that people love us. You don't even know who the hell I am.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not me. Yeah, got
Yeah.
it. Yeah, got it. I love this. I love your honesty. I my hope is um that everyone can have this and experience this moment, whether it's through music, whether it's through other forms of art, other platforms, so they can have this conversation. You
Mhm.
have always been true with your art, your artistic expression. um, and there's always been that common thread of empowering women, but you also had this one song which I used to love, which
Mhm.
also I think had been an Achilles heel for me as I start to date, is like
Roughneck.
roughneck, like, yes. You already know where I was going.
Yeah.
I could I mean recite. Wait, let it come on up. Let me get the words again because we, me and my girls, we love that, and there is so much truth to that.
Mhm.
Is there a part now that you look back on that song, you listen to the lyrics? Are there things about you like, oh, I've grown since that? I've grown since Roughneck. That's not necessarily what I want. Or by the way, that's exactly what I want, just with a little bit more sophistication.
Right. No. When I when I made the song, it was an ode to the guys from my neighborhood, not
Okay.
necessarily the guys I dated. So let me
Oh, okay.
clear that up. Yeah. It
Okay.
was um it was a real, celebration of all of the Caribbean guys because my family was one of two American families on a block full of Haitians, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Bajans, it was Bahamians, everything you can imagine, this melting pot in a section called the 90s in Brooklyn. And so it was just an ode to them. And, I'm sorry if so many during that time, oh, yeah, I need one of those.
That's why he was like, yes, thank you. Speak to us. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I know what that is. I know what that
Yeah.
flavor is. And, unfortunately, a lot of them are too slick for themselves. So I do prefer, someone who definitely has some swag, but also is able to handle their business and their responsibilities and understanding that at this age, if you still out on the street trying, I don't know what you're doing out there. You know, so yeah, to have that kind of hip hop flavor, that swag, I think it's necessary, at least to catch my eye and for a lot of us that grew up in hip hop. But
Yeah.
then there's also a lot, as you get older, you kind of wane away.
You have been able to, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. But you do need some swagger. You got to have some swagger, something. You know what I mean? You got to have a little. And by the way, men want that from women as well. Like
Yeah.
they like a woman who is very comfortable in her own skin and can do the
Mhm.
argument or the conversation that I have had most recently with this guy that I am dating is that men now feel like women have defined themselves by what they do and what they make, how much
Mhm.
money they make, and who they are, what their title is.
Mhm.
And oftentimes you hear a man say, "Well, I don't want to marry myself, or I don't want to date myself. I want to date a woman." While
Mhm.
that's true, I believe, and I read this in the New York Times, but I believe this to be true, it's a different time. It's not when our grandparents were getting married or our grandmothers were getting married because they had to, because they couldn't get credit cards, because they couldn't work, because they couldn't make a living. And
Mhm.
now men are being required to have personalities and develop and know more. And
Mhm.
it's making them uncomfortable. And
Mhm.
I'm okay with the learning aspect of this process. But what I have been able to sit back and really appreciate is this evolution of woman in every possible way. You have been able to have a career that has expanded over 3+ decades, and that is unheard of. And might I mention, look damn good the entire time. You've never not shown up, and I'm like, damn, she look good. You know what I mean? Like you've never not
You. Mhm.
always been looking amazing and graceful and elegant, but still real. And you have garnered over the years, people know that you have different friendships with different people and different celebrities. How are you able in this game that is so where people just love you for who you are if you're on the top and disappear? How have you been able to foster these great relationships with people of note that are really truly seemingly, just from my eye, not necessarily knowing them, that are authentic? How have you
Mhm.
been able to do that with the Jadas of the world, which I think she's amazing, or with, I think you and Dana are friends. I've seen you in these worlds, and these people really truly seem to have great relationships. And I wonder how you do that in this industry.
Well, what I can say about those two, really deep sisterhood is at play with both of those people. And I think it's one because we started out so early. It's a certain amount of trust and a willingness to be vulnerable with
Yeah.
people who want nothing from you. that have only brought goodness and, love into the friendship. And I think those are the cornerstones right there for what makes a great foundation, for great sisterhood. And it's wanting nothing. So if we don't talk in however long, the first time we talk, it's not like, where you been? It's never that state. It's always a state of giving. It's like, hey, how you been? How's it going? Yes, we are both aware it's been a long time since we've spoken, but no love is lost,
Amen.
so, and it's a willingness to have an ear, um and understand that there will be times when we talk where someone has much more to say than the other, and so then you just listen. And then the next time, the next go around, you'll get a chance to say, pop, body, pop, pop, pop. What do you think about that? And then you might get some sound advice from what it is that you're going through at that time. So I think it's just a give and take, and
Amen.
knowing where, the position that you're in and that they're in. And yeah, it's just a willingness to move with the flow.
Yeah, amen.
Hmm.
Amen. I received that. I was reading today. I was prepping for the Wiz. Tell me if I'm right or this. I was going to attend tomorrow, and I'm looking at the tomorrow, which is the opening night of the Wiz, which is on Broadway. Let me be very specific, you all. April 17th,
Hmm.
which is a Wednesday. I was looking at some of the producers and special producers behind the scenes, and whose name do I see? I see your name. Now, tell me about your contributions as a producer. I'm assuming they said that's what it said on the playbill,
Hmm.
to The Wiz, which is a remake of a beautiful movie, um, based on The Wizard of Oz. But then we did it the black version with The Wiz with Diana Ross, which was amazing, and Michael Jackson, and all of these amazing, amazing luminaries in the culture. And now it is revived. It's been revived a few times, but I think this is really special. Tell
Yeah.
me about your role in that and its release.
Yeah, sure thing. As a producer, our company, MC Lyte and Lynn Richardson, we decided that this was something that we wanted to participate in. When they told us that there was an opportunity to become involved as producers, we didn't have to think twice. We were like,
Wow.
yes, we need to do it. So we wound up going to the opening night at the Hippodrome. And I think what we loved most about this particular presentation or rendition of The Wiz is that they took it out on the road first and then landed it in Broadway. And usually it's the opposite. You start on Broadway and then you go out. But once we heard the plan, we were even that much more excited about it. I think at this point, Candy was attached, Burris, the mogul,
Yeah.
and Common. And so, lucky for me, Common COO and my COO are sorors of Delta Sigma Theta, incorporated, sorority incorporated. You can't leave the incorporated.
You gotta be very. It's very serious. You
Very
gotta be very
specific.
clear.
Very specific. And so once we heard about the opportunity and we reached out and spoke to the production, everything they had to say was so awesome. Like who wouldn't want to be involved in the 2023 to 24 to who knows how long rendition of The Wiz?
What does the Wiz represent?
Um, Freedom. To me it represents freedom, and I've watched it across the nation, this go round. I've seen it in Baltimore at the launch. I've seen it in Chicago and San Francisco, and to me every time I see it, I learn a little bit more about each of the characters, and um, how they really represent a piece of who we are as let's say humans, but as spirits having this human experience here. And that's the need for love and relationship and courage and all of the many things that are represented in the show, but also what each of them are going through, and that's a spat of loneliness. that is
Mhm.
filled with, it can sometimes be filled with fear of the unknown. But when in fact you open yourself up for collaboration, because it all starts on a journey where this young woman feels like she's alone. But if she leaves herself open along her journey, she's able to collaborate with people who are going through um, things that are may or may not be just alike, but they all have something that they need to work on that lives within. But it's these other people that they let in, which to me are like angels that God is speaking through, that says you are and have exactly what it is that you're looking for on the outside is actually in. So I love the story. I never
Mhm.
get tired of seeing it. I hope that you make it to see it on its day. If not, it'll be there for a minute. So if you miss the
Yeah.
day, you can always
I
go.
am scheduled to see it. By the time that this airs, I will have seen it and I will be able to properly give it its just due and its review that I'm sure is amazing. For you to describe that it represents freedom and it makes you understand that everyone is on a journey looking for connection. That is the essence of life. We are all in this life right now looking for connection if we don't have it. And connecting is so important. I think I think our bodies crave it, our minds crave it, and if we're honest and open, it's why we it's why sometimes we get angry, we get sad, we get depressed because we're lacking that necessary connection to be seen and to be heard and to be valued. And yet again, another project that you are a part of that speaks to the human condition. Um, I wonder, I wonder if I mean, I know when I'm around my girls and my people who love me most, they hype me and they tell me all the amazing things that I am. Do you understand your contribution to us as a culture, to hip hop, to women?
Mhm.
Do you understand why we all have this reaction of honor and reverence when we talk to you?
Um, do I understand? I
Because
understand
people
it
don't like
just
compliments. People don't like compliments. It's hard for people to receive compliments. And when
right.
people tell you that, do you get uncomfortable? And do you think it's too much? Or you're like, yeah, okay, you're right.
No, I do not get uncomfortable.
Oh, good.
And yes, I do err more on the side of being accepting of it, because
Amen.
this is what we're working
Yeah.
for, right? Is to be able to touch and inspire and lead people to a better version of themselves. And I can only become a better version of myself if I see the reaction or I'm told the honest truth about what it is that I have caused, right? So there's cause and effect. So I want to know, what have I caused? Oh, I did. That's a good thing. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that I'm moving in the right direction. And it's funny. I talked with I don't know what else to call her except your aide, your assistant, your pre-producer, or whatever.
Jacquees. Yeah.
Quiz. We
Yeah.
talked about these records back here, and I said I didn't get a chance to attend Norfolk State University the way that I had planned. I actually sent my money, filled out my forms, I was on my way, and hip hop interrupted that, and I let it. I allowed hip hop to come into my life and lead me off to Denmark, to Copenhagen, where I had my first tour in September when I was supposed to start at Norfolk State University. And so these are my degrees, these are my
Yep.
diplomas. And, the last record I put out was in 2014,
Wow.
years ago. And so now my diploma is in what you just said to me. My
Amen.
degree is in, that young kid who said he listened to that song and now this is what inspired him to do whatever it is that he's doing now. Or people seeing me, I've been in business for over 30 something years, and it inspires other people that say, you know what? I'm going to get into this hip hop thing. I don't know where it's going to lead me or how, when, why, and what, but I'm going to go because she was successful and I can probably do that too.
I am constantly in awe, and I'll give you just some names, right? Names, some of which we just mentioned, but
Mm.
yes, like a Queen Latifah, a Jada, a LL Cool J, Fat Joe for that matter. Uh, the early pioneers of this game there have been a handful, not more than a handful, quite frankly, that have been able to transition, to pivot, to still rely on the source of what they are, their foundation, and what people made them known, but still work this game to today. And I often liken it to when they talk about the actors that were triple threats back in the day, the black and white movies that you would watch. My mom made me watch black and white movies, and you would have to be able to sing and dance and act. You have to do it all. You couldn't just be a one trick pony.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you could have looked at your career when you were at the top of your career and noticed how you would have been able to pivot and transition and still be relevant, not that that matters, but still have an impact and still be able to do what you love in different branches of this industry. Had you known that?
No, no, I didn't. But I do know that I can attribute it to a great team. You know,
Mm,
it really takes looking at this industry as a business. And when you fail to do that, is when you don't make it into the land of 10-year, 20-year, 30-year business. We have people that run our companies that know business and how to
amen.
strategize and
Good team.
how to plan.
Good
And
team.
yeah, you need the
Good
team,
team.
especially if you're going to stay in your lane, which is
Yeah.
creative. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
with all sorts of reasons I can try to come up out of my lane to do this, that, and the third, and I'm reminded very quickly that's not where I belong. Let me do it over here. And I also liken it to, as an artist that creates whatever it is that you're creating, whether it's music or film, TV, paintings, whatever the case, you have this football that you need you're the quarterback and you need a
Hmm.
running back to catch that ball and take it down the
Hmm.
field. If not,
Hmm.
you're stuck with all of these ideas. You become disgruntled because none of them are coming to manifestation. And so you need the team of people that are going to help you sustain, maintain, and grow.
Amen for a team. Is there anything, any project, before I let you go, is there any project that you are working on that I did not mention as of late? I want to make sure I got two of them, which is the congratulations on producing The Wiz, this freedom play, as we just called it, because it is that. It is beautiful, being one of the producers there. And also, congratulations on the single. And is there anything else that that you're working on that you wanted to promote?
Well, there's quite a few things. I made my directorial debut not so long ago with a short called "Break Up in Love,"
Hmm.
which is about a couple undoing but trying to do it lovingly.
Hmm.
It's actually on YouTube. People could check it out. Breakupinlove.com.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And it's going to be more projects that I look to direct. We have a music video that I've never done a music video before. And so I just directed my first. It's called Be You with an artist called Van Van, who is an internet sensation.
I love Van Van.
Yeah,
That's my boo. I love Van Van.
right. She and Eris Harris. Yeah, everybody loves Van Van, you know.
Yeah.
But I got a chance to direct their video called Be You. And so I'm
Oh,
excited
wow.
about that. You can also see that on YouTube. And we have a whole album coming. It's called One
Yes.
on One. Warren Campbell and myself. I said he's my pastor. And so it's
Mhm.
so great to be able to do music with someone who understands where I am today and, doesn't push or press me into saying anything that doesn't feel natural, that isn't truthful to who I am.
Amen.
And we're having a good time. And we've got a lot of great people on that record: Common, Q Tip, Anthony Hamilton.
Woo.
Yeah, Ghostface, Lil Mama. The list keeps growing, but I'm really content with what it is that we're building and growing. And Woman is just the first installment to that record. And yes, there's
Uh,
so many other things going on, but it's a list.
which I love. Look, keep me busy, keep me creative. That's where I live. That's my safe space, and I love that for you. Thank you for being so gracious and taking the time. I have this one last question. You can tell me. I
Mhm.
think acting, directing, performing, producing. Is there something, if you had your biggest dream and you could write it out, what would it be?
That's a, you know what would be great to just have a successful relationship.
Amen.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love
As it
you.
relates to entertainment, that's great, that's great, that's great. But really, I'm in a great relationship now, and I just want to have all the love and the patience and compassion that I can muster. And so I've given it to God, and let's see.